Have you ever felt like you're getting dropped from positions unknown? That people always seem to see you way before you have a chance to see them? Or ever had a gunshot right by your ear but never saw the guy behind the weapon? I guarantee you probably either thought it was a hacker or lag that was to blame. Well, let's take a look at how humans normally would spot an enemy in real life, apply it to the game, and see if it's really lag or lack of knowledge. Hello operators, I'm Seto, and today we're covering target identification in its own video. These concepts, while simple sounding, are processed differently for every person. Today, I hope to give a brief, simple explanation of these concepts that I will then demonstrate later in the video. So, let's get the boring bit out of the way. We will cover 1. Spotting a moving target. 2. Identifying potential ambush and sniper nests. 3. Gauging raid times to determine possible PMC locations. 4. The human silhouette as it relates to Tarkov. And then finally 5. How to apply the above concepts to the game directly. So let's begin with number 1. Spotting a moving target. This concept, in essence, is not overly complicated. Human eyes are instinctually drawn to movement. It is this way because an animate thing could be a possibly dangerous thing, and we don't know until we identify it first. By being sensitive to motion, we tend to rely on our eyes for a great many things, even when our other senses have long held importance in intercepting important information. Now, some motion is easier to see than others. For example, we are quite adept at spotting motion as it moves horizontally in relation to us. It's a clear entity that we can track its progress as it moves on this plane. However, you may be surprised to find we are not quite as quick to detect a target moving straight at us, especially in a dark environment. That's not to say it's impossible, but we're more used to things moving at angles away from us, or in uneven patterns toward us when it's slow. We remedy this with our other senses, but in Tarkov, we are not so lucky. Number 2. Identifying potential ambush and sniper nests. This concept is a little more recent to us, and we are not all adapted to identifying these. Think about walking down the street. You may not think much about it in your average life, but law enforcement, military, or ex-military, or anyone that's been in the combat environment will tell you that a street with windows is a potential death trap waiting to happen. Identifying these spots takes practice and experience to find on your own, but some of the things to look for simply require a good line of sight of a high traffic area, such as this one. And any spot that provides concealment will serve as an ambusher's initial point of contact, not just cover. This is because an ambush is not a head-to-head fight involving cover, it's an attempt to end an engagement within the first few seconds of making contact. Keep that in mind when approaching any area that people commonly pass through. Number 3. The human silhouette as it relates to Tarkov. With no items to provide direct concealment in the game, the human silhouette plays a large part in spotting people. Commonly, players will not be thinking about this particular concept, and you will see them walk on the tops of hills skylining themselves for the world to see. More importantly, a player standing or laying in a spot can be quickly identified if they haven't taken the proper time to conceal their outline properly. Keep that in mind. A proper way to conceal your outline is, for example, to use a bush to break up the silhouette behind you. Number 4. Gauging raid times to determine possible PMC location. This concept is unique to Tarkov, not to life. When you drop into a raid, you may find yourself at the very beginning, or you may be a few seconds or even minutes late. This information is important to know when you drop in, because it will determine your next course of action that you choose to do. Make sure you know how much time you have in the map before you spawn to make full use of this information. And finally, number 5. Apply these concepts to Tarkov. All of these concepts together will assist us in increasing our survival rate by giving us the best possible chance of identifying targets before they become an issue. This also gives us an advantage over people not relying on their own eyes or ears, an example that we will demonstrate now. In this example, we've spawned on the Road to Custom side of Shoreline. Our particular spot grants us quick access to a nearby hidden cache and a relatively safe route to the radio antenna up ahead. I decide to move towards this antenna at a comfortable pace. I didn't deploy into the raid, so I can be reasonably sure that if someone wanted to take antenna, they will already be there and I should be listening. Here, we take a little stop to wait for possible PMCs that will run along the wall to our left. It's not likely, but there is a chance that we can catch someone here. In this case, we find no targets, so we'll skip ahead. We take a breather here to check for another common crossing area. Everywhere from left to right is a potential enemy lying in wait. However, due to the firefight in the distance, I decide it's likely safe to hike down and begin looting other cached spots down below, after a quick check of the area. We just stopped. Did you see why? Take a few seconds and see if you spotted the issue. Let's see if you spotted the target. Here he is now. We caught movement going left to right. Someone happens to be trafficking through at the same time we were coming down. If we'd been patient, we could have had a superior position on the hill. However, we haven't been spotted, so we can still capitalize on our first sight advantage. Well, 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 someone has a friend. We're taking him out first. He's on a hill, which means he could be shot from any number of angles. This will confuse his companion, and maintain our advantage of concealment, even with being detected. Targets have been eliminated. We're confident that they were the only two together, and we'll go secure the loot. You might wonder how the second PMC was unable to get a shot off in time. There's two reasons. The first was that I had sighted in on him already, and needed to only pull the trigger. He had to aim before he could pull his own trigger. Milliseconds difference, but enough to make a huge impact. The second reason, well, is a matter of opinion. Let me show you. Can you spot the issue? If you said the thermal sight, congratulations. You've spotted a common problem between both PMCs. The reason I say this is because, while detecting heat signatures may seem like a fantastic idea, it presents a very fatal flaw. This flaw being, naturally, complacency. Both PMCs believed their thermal imaging devices would let them spot targets anywhere around them, while they would be hard to find. Thermal imaging is great for identifying targets, but it's not ideal for engaging them. The sight is bulky and takes time to aim. It's harsh on your breath time as well. The biggest issue is that thermals present players with a perceived crutch, something that can supposedly make up for their lack of care on large maps like Shoreline. For this reason, I strongly advise anyone playing to avoid the allure of thermals. They're pricey and they're not worth becoming complacent with. I hope this provides you with more insight into spotting targets more effectively in your raids. The example provided was on Shoreline, but this concept is useful on any map, in any situation. Remember, you don't survive by playing quickly, you survive by playing smart. And now, you have another set of tools to give you the extra edge over other PMCs in your own raids. Don't forget, the raid you start feeling at ease is likely the raid your survival streak is broken. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know if this helped you out. You can catch me on Twitch. I post a weekly schedule and often take new players out on raids for map guides and one-on-one training. Twitter is a great way to privately message me with questions on Escape from Tarkov. I always try to answer as soon as reasonably possible. Thanks again, and remember operators, keep your eyes open in Tarkov.